Welcome, beloved Sangha, to our Jewel Ornament of Liberation series, a commentary with our Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We'll begin today's episode in the Yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute Prayer Book, page 4 and 5, with opening prayers. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Kaju lama namje da jo je dananda nazara damje do lama laba la ye jizo zo la zo yon de jamzo nga la wa dende donjen de be gele zo da ge lo jizo ndo wara jinje labdo zo je lamdo ndo wara jinje labdo Lam drva zevra zinje labdo zo drva ije zanje vra zinje labdo zo kange denjen revar njong gaba me ba je pa me ba ta me ba oha me ba ndo me ba ta de de me do je me drva nye je dan ba zo ba zanje ma na je dan ba de la zan zar de Rinjin zawa lama je je ka zon do je zin lan da 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 ge ju lan bu de da ge den ba dan zin je je do la po jen do bara zin je la do zo. Dear Dharma brothers and sisters, today I will continuously explain on the Ornament of Precious Liberation by Gambopa, and Gambopa divided his treats into 6 main topics. The prime cause for attaining highest awakening, the Buddha nature, the copper ground for achieving awakening, the precious human existence, the contributing condition that impels one to achieve it, the Dharma master, the means for achieving it, the instructions of the Dharma master, the result that is so achieved, the bodies or kaya of Buddhahood, the enlightened activities that follow the attainment of Buddhahood. So uh, today we begin the second section of Gampopa's Jewel Ornament of Liberation. This is the first among the four thoughts. Those who become authentic practitioners like Milarepa begin with this understanding. It is the base for transforming the mind. Each of the afflictive emotions has an antidote, especially the 40 desires. Each have their own antidote. And then this section on one of the four thoughts. And the four thoughts are the preliminary practice of the preliminary practices. Without training the mind through these four thoughts, it's quite hard to practice Dharma continuously, because sometimes we have good health and wealth and we forget Dharma practice. Why don't we want to forget Dharma even if we have good health and wealth? Why do we need Dharma then? Karma means action. This action exists within our lives. So when we act well, then we experience happiness. When we act poorly, then we experience suffering. So Dharma explains how to act well for happiness and how to stop negative actions. And also, when we experience suffering, the Dharma lets us understand what caused the suffering and how to liberate from it. But the way of Dharma practice, if you come through preliminary practice and training through Lamrim, then one will become very good Dharma practitioner. Very good Dharma practitioner means one can avoid negative karma, which is the cause of suffering, and help others liberate from suffering. Lamrim plants us very deeply and certainly in the ground of Dharma, and the preliminaries work to purify our karmic debts and so relieve us of suffering gradually. Then when we practice the four thoughts, then we need to know how to practice. And through this section of the book, we can learn in detail how to practice precious human life. Sometimes we call it precious human life. Sometimes we call it the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages. The reason we call it precious human life is because in this precious human life we can attain Buddhahood, and we can remove all suffering. Especially in this human vessel, if we suffer or have difficulties, this removes or purifies the greater suffering of falling to the lower realms later. This human vessel is a very special container for the snow lion's milk of Dharma. Snow lion's milk, when poured into an ordinary vessel, will break. Similarly, if we teach Dharma to other beings, they can hear it, and we can make an imprint of Dharma for them, but they immediately forget or cannot understand completely. Because of these other beings cannot use Dharma nectar. This human body and Dharma wisdom are special combination. With this precious life, we can be Yidam deity. For example, if you get sick, you can go to the doctor and explain your problem, and you can buy medicine and follow the doctor's advice so you can recover from your disease. So this means you can be a medicine Buddha. And also, because these wisdoms are medicine Buddha, and also you can make long life through your longevity practice, through your recitation of long life mantras and healthy food. So that means you can be a longevity deity, because these wisdoms are longevity Buddha. Whether we call on Buddha or some call on God, we can be them. We can be Buddha, we can be God. So this precious human life has this power. We can practice both kinds of bodhicitta, ultimate and relative, in our precious human body. So it is peerlessly precious. But many people waste this precious human life through self-cherishing and ignorance. As Milarepa said to Hunter, in the Buddha's teaching, it says a precious human life is very difficult to find, but a life like yours is not difficult to find. Milarepa said to a hunter that this means a human life spent cultivating non-virtue is not precious. Then why do we call this precious human life difficult to find? Actually, we will discuss this through the text as Gampopa explains in detail. But first, I will offer you Milarepa's songs. Milarepa's song 10 Difficulties. When Milarepa was in the cave of Osalpo, Osal means clarity, Pok means the name of retreat cave. Many village lay practitioners went there and said that we are attached to our work in this life and attached to our possessions in this life. And so the opportunity to practice for the sake of the next life or for enlightenment is a very rare for us. So what should we do? Then Milarepa said, first you should think about precious human life. And he sang a song about precious human life. A free and resourceful and fully equipped human body that is freed of the 8 unfree states. It's not easy to get. To get to the heart of this free and resourceful occasion and get past the pleasures of life is not easy to do. To see what is wrong with the phenomena of samsara and accomplish nirvana is not something easy to do. Although one might practice true dharma extensively, the poorest conducive conditions don't easily join. A lama who masters instructions and scriptures and logic and has a compassionate here is not easy to find. A student with faith who does not get fed up or exhausted and is able to actually practice, not easy to find. A practice environment blessed with the proper conditions, free of all hazard and fear is not easy to find. Friends with the same motivation and a way to apply it whose thinking accords with your own are not easy to find. A body that is able to work with its pain and its illness and so do all you bid is not something easy to find. Although you may get every one of these factors together to practice with one pointed mind is not easy to do. These are 10 things which are difficult factors to come by. They are difficult, but it's these difficult things you must do. So you should look at yourself, and when you see that you have found these 10 difficult things. You should be happy. And when you look at others and see that they too have found these 10 difficult things, you should be happy for them. This happiness is the spirit of bodhicitta. So you so Milarepa, who became enlightened in one life with one body, so he also practiced on this precious human life, and then all the masters who get great siddhis, blessings, they all practiced four thoughts and these precious human life. So we also should go on their paths, their path. Because those Mahasiddhas, Bodhisattvas, Buddha, they were also ordinary being in the first time, but then they practice Dharma through four thoughts and so forth, and then they became Bodhisattvas and Buddhas and Mahasiddhas. So we also should do same practice because we need the same result. So today this Gamboba's text, if you have this text, page number 25, you look at page number 25. Second, a precious human existence. Given that all sentient beings have a Buddha nature, can the 5 types of non-human beings, hell beings, hungry spirits, and so forth, achieve Buddhahood? They cannot. The excellent type of existence that provides a working base for achieving Buddhahood is known as a precious human existence, meaning someone who materially has freedoms combined with assets, and who mentally has the 3 kinds of faith. The synopsis of the explanation of these is the following. The very best base is summed up in 5 points: freedoms, assets, conviction, aspiration, and clarity. Two of these are matter, and three are mental. There are freedoms in as much as the person is free from eight unfavorable conditions. According to Panjana Parimitas commentary on the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life, in his summary of what is found in the Attention to Mindfulness Sutara, the eight unfavorable states are to be a hill, a deviler, a hungry spirit, in animal, a barbarian, a long living gout, someone with fixate, aberrant views, one born in a one born in a time without a Buddha, or a person with severe difficulty in understanding. Why are these states deemed unfavorable for the attainment of enlightenment? Hell is unsuitable because the very character of its experience is constant suffering. The hungry spirit state is unsuitable because of its mental anguish. The animal state is unsuitable because of its generalized benightedness. These three states are also devoid of a sense of dignity or regard for others. Such beings do not really have any possibility of practicing Dharma because the above conditions render their general way of existence inappropriate for it. This means that you don't care about committing non-virtues. So you are shameless. Shamelessness is a mental event that is in afflictive emotion. This emotion combines with attachment, anger, and ignorance. The long living gods are those without cognition because their stream of consciousness, along with its related mental activities, is in a state of suspension. They do not have the possibility of practicing Dharma. their mind is incapable of applying itself to it. Apart from these particular gods of desire realm, gods live long compared to humans, and so could also be included in this category. These gods don't have the perception of birth and death. So they don't have renunciation for samsara. So they don't try to practice dharma to liberate themselves from samsara, because temporarily they don't have perception that samsara is in ocean of suffering. They will remain in this state for 500 eons. Perhaps they don't have a gross body. Before they took rebirth, they practiced only non-perception. They thought that is the final freedom. But this non-perception is included in ignorance. So they have the ripening cause for rebirth in samsara. So after 500 eons, they will die and be reborn in the desire realm. Spiritual masters are important. Right now, perhaps when you heard this, you think it's not so important, because all the Dharma is in the book. So you can read Tibetan, you can read English and other languages. So you think you can read in the book, and then it will get everything. But in the ordinary, in school teachers, how important? We all have tongues. But if school teachers did not teach us languages, then we cannot talk with these people, and we cannot read. So Dharma masters helps us to open Dharma wisdom. And when we open our Dharma wisdom, but this only one time we open the eyes of Dharma wisdom, it does not enough. Even these gods who live 500 eons, and for the beings of formless realm and form realms, they took rebirth there because of great karma. But first they did a very good practice, and then they achieved some realizations. But then they don't much follow gurus. They thought they know everything. They achieved the main thing. So that's where they struck in the formless realms and form realms. They have less suffering, but eventually they will not become enlightened. We will become enlightened first. Because in this human realm, we have temporary sufferings. So these sufferings are also great teachers. So through this suffering, we renounce samsara, and we practice. When we practice, there are many without masters, spiritual masters. It's hard to. There are many. How to say? There are different experiences, and we share these experiences to spiritual masters, and then they step by step guide us. So if you think enlightenment is important, then spiritual masters' single word are peerless. Single word is peerless. It gives inconceivable beneficial or benefiting. So doesn't matter how long you studied and retreat. You can teach others. You can help others through Dharma way, Dharma path, but you must follow spiritual master. In the Suttarayana, there are 11 bhumis, 5 paths. Even you do not know you reached on which path and which bhumis. Perhaps you reach on the first bhumi. That perhaps that bhumi is Praktika Buddha's bhumi or Sharavika's bhumi, but you thought that is the highest bhumi, and you thought you become enlightened. It's happened with many practitioners. And then you don't do more. But if you have a spiritual master and you share the realizations to the spiritual masters, and then they tell you this level is that, they know which level you reach which level. So the reason we should follow spiritual masters, because we have to improve our Dharma wisdom. Dharma wisdom has many processes. The first step is to try to remove these obstacles, afflictive emotions. But it is responsibility, it's getting, heavy or higher and higher. It has more, our Dharma wisdom has more responsibilities. Even we reach on the first bhumi. For example, in Mahamudra, we practiced 4 yogas. So we practiced first yoga, and then second, third. We have more responsibilities. We have to understand more in details the natural phenomena or Dharma Dhatu. So there were more misunderstandings. So so these okay, and then in fact
Uh, all the gods are in unfavorable condition due to their attachment to the well-being of their situation. This this makes them unsuited because they are unable to strive for virtue. Um, in this respect, the relatively limited degree of manifest suffering present in human life is a helpful quality inasmuch as it fosters rejection of samsara, coils pride, gives rise to compassion for others beings, and makes as shun unwholesome action and appreciate virtue. This is also mentioned in Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life. There are further virtues to suffering. World awareness helps dispel arrogance. Compassion will well up for those in samsara, and one will shun non virtue and delight in virtue. Uh, the above explains why those four non human, uh, the beings of hell, beings of hunger, ghost, beings of animal, beings of gods, yeah, for them. Uh, mm, Souls of existence simply do not have the freedom to work toward enlightenment, but neither do some forms of human existence. Barbarians, because of the improbability of their interacting with spiritual teachers, those with fixate, uh, aberrant views, because of the difficulty they have in understanding virtue to be the cause of rebirth into better states and of liberation, those born in a world without a Buddha, because of the absence of teachings on what is and what is not to be done, and those with the severe impediments, because these make them unable to understand the Dharma teachings, explain which things are worthwhile and which things are harmful. The very best freedom is to be free from the above eight. There are 10 assets. Uh, Five are personal and five are other related. The five personal assets are described as to be human, born in a center line with complete faculties, free from having committed the worst of actions and having appropriate trust. To be humane means to have been born the same as other humans with male or female organs. To have been born in a center line means birth in a place with the accessible holy beings. Okay. These environmentally, the center of the line means it means the center of the Dharma, which means you have a spiritual master. Of course, you have precious human life first, precious human life, and then you have spiritual master, and then you have Dharma wisdom, which means you understand Dharma when spiritual master gives. And also you need a special enthusiasm in Dharma. So right now we have that, but this opportunity is this golden opportunity receives from great merit. So if you have 4 family members, and then you think carefully, only you become Dharma practitioner. Other families are not Dharma practitioner yet. They have a human life. Some, they don't have time to practice Dharma. Some, they don't see the value of Dharma. But only you see and you have time. That means your merit is inconceivable. So then you think carefully about that. Think means reflect. Here it says precious human life, precious human life. It does not mean precious human life means only you have you have a body. This is one part of precious human life. But the opportunities, golden opportunities, are including precious human life. Someone has a great enthusiasm to practice Dharma, follow Dharma, but they don't have time. So I'm talking in reality. Just recently, some ask questions from Australia. They say they are looking Dharma master, and they would like to practice Dharma. How to do? They are very thirsty to practice Dharma. So someone has kind of this great enthusiasm. But then you receive Dharma spontaneously. That is your power of your merit. But this merit does not coming from sky. It does not grow on the ground. does not you find accidentally on the way of the work vehicle route. So this opportunity, you cultivate merit life to life, almost since beginningless. You practice generosity, you practice the patience, perfect of patience, you practice discipline, perfection of discipline, meditate, make effort. So now, if you waste it, then this is, for example, you save money through undertaking hardship, and after you have a lot of money, and then you waste that money for damage your body. It's like that. So you cultivate it, and you have cultivated and accumulated merit for many lives. But some merit could not ripen suddenly. Actually, this part coming soon in these teachings, because of karma. So now in this life, you get this result. Those karmas result. And then you have to, if you waste this, then this is a little bit stupid. Now you have, since beginningless or for many lives, you cultivate merit, and now you have precious human life, which means you have everything. So in this stage, with this body, if you become enlightened, definitely you can. Milarepa, he become enlightened. We say, oh, Milarepa become enlightened with one life and with one body. I think you don't have non-virtue as Milarepa had. Because Milarepa cultivated a very serious non-virtue. So now you have a very thin obscurations. Very thin obscurations. So the problem is we don't understand the value because we are distracted with material things, outside things, mundane things. So think more according to your family, friends, relatives, and then you should understand the value of your golden opportunity, and then start to practice dharma. So this understanding is powerful. It has great power. This power helps you to progress your practice. Okay, then to have complete faculties means that you have the intellectual faculties needed for the actual practice of virtue, suffering from neither a severe learning difficulty nor a severe communication impediment. Free from having committed the worst of actions means you have not committed the actions of immediate consequence in this life. Uh, there are five inexplicable deeds. The reason we call them inexplicable is that those who engage in any one of them, they won't go through the bardo or any transitional stage after death. They will be directly reborn in the hell realm. The first of these deeds is killings one's father, because one's father and one's body have a special relationship through the tiglia or drops. Our father is the one who has planted our precious human life. So his kindness should be the object of our gratitude. According to the Vajrayana, without the tigla, we will not be able to generate great bliss. Our fathers were protectors when we were children until now. Also, father is part of method when we practice. The second inexplicable deed is killing one's mother. Our mother is the one in whom our precious human life grew. Our father planted it, and it grew in our mother. If we build a building one place, if we bought this land, and then we say this land is very important because my house is there, I was grown there, this is very important. That's right. But then why our mother's womb is not important? Because we grow there 9 months, more than 9 months. Without mother's womb, where we grew. So think, right now our skin has very smooth. This is part of our mother. We get milk from mothers. Mother's milk is not like a normal water. It's just follow like a wild river. Mother's milk is coming from love, loving kindness. Only babies can drink it. So we should think kindness. This is 21st century. We should think. We should be grateful each others. Right now we have many self-cherishing, and we have lots of how to say misunderstandings. Of course, we have to understand the kindness. We should be grateful to our parents, of course, and masters and spiritual masters, spiritual and Dharma friends, and all mother thinking beings. We are so grateful to all mother thinking beings. Without mother thinking beings, how can we generate compassion? Without generating the compassion, how can we become enlightened? Buddhas, they completely freed from suffering, still they think the mother thinking beings are so, how to say, grateful. Mm. So generally, this is a degeneration time, especially in these days. People are having so much grasping. It's too much selfish. It is really. Uh, it is too much. We destroyed this Mother Earth. Mother Earth is pure land. We destroyed a lot, and we transform pure land into the samsara, ocean of suffering. Our human being does lots of these mistakes. Human beings do a lot of mistakes. Cows and these wild animals, they don't have a precious human life, but they don't destroy that much our motherland. For example, cows down poops, or what is called, it helps to grass. So we are very much keep too much egoistic mind inside, and we do a lot of these self-cherishing activities. Then our breath goes out in the space, and then all the airs become cause of disease. So we all try to take responsibility. We try to breathe compassion, loving kindness. Some says that, or always mention compassion, loving kindness. If you don't act, what is the benefit? Even says compassion, it is like a mantra. Says bodhicitta, it is mantra. This breath goes out. It touches other beings, trees, rivers, ears. It helps them. These outer elements and our inner body has very special relationship, like our mobile phone and electricities. If something happens, these outer elements, it's directly effect in our body. Then long life, healthy life is just, it's hard, really difficult because of karmic system. So we try to think the kindness. We should be grateful each others, and then harmonies, harmony, peaceful. They all they become stronger, and then this motherland is a part of pure land. Actually, it says it is Shakyamuni Buddha's pure land. So the mother is the one who first gave us the warmth of loving kindness in our mind. They looked at us with loving eyes and called our names sweetly. Yes, the one thing, let me say this. All mothers are not same. This because of one's karma and their karma too. So some other, yeah, definitely they didn't take care of their children. It's happened. Some everywhere it happened that. So tell no, maybe one upside to one's mother, and this I understand that, and but mother gives this. We were grow in mother's womb. We don't at over 9 months we don't have food. Without food, one day we cannot alive. Without water, for a few days, we are so hard to alive. But mother mother shared her, how to say, blood or her. So think more about that. So now we are practitioners, or if you were not Dharma practitioners, still you don't keep resentment. I understand it's not easy because someone does very what to say, someone did shamelessly something, then it's quite hard to be patient with those beings. But try. It's more benefit to you, because if you keep a very strong resentment, then it does not help you. It does not help others. So whatever happened is happened. So now you try to rebuild bodhicitta, loving kindness, and at least if you cannot share compassion, bodhicitta, try to forget the resentment. I think this is good for you. So not only mother, some fathers also they did not take responsibility well, and they did a lot of mistakes. It's a very in the human society, in the samsara, it's very possible like these situations occurred. So that's where now try to change mind. And the first part I said that strongly to the someone who have whose parents did not do any bad things, and then but nowadays someone took some take care their parents wonderfully. These part I appreciate. And if someone later some may not have problem with the parents, but they don't care about the parents, then you try to more take responsibilities. But what I would say is, for example, someone is not easy to help parents directly because of different locations, different the circumstances, and prayers, praying, and your dharma practice, meditate, improve your compassion, loving kindness. They really help them. Not only these parents, then it helps all mother thinking beings. So actually, this is the best way to reply the kindness to our parents and our mother thinking beings. Okay. So mothers looked at us with loving eyes and called our names sweetly. Sometimes what they called us became our nickname as we grew. We and our mother are related through blood. Then the third inexplicable deed, killing in our heart. This is inexplicable because They have almost completely conquered the maras of afflictive emotions, and they only have to live out their life as in Arhat, and in the next life they will certainly become Buddhas. A simple example is a college student who is about to grad, uh, graduate. If someone kills them the day before graduation, it is such a waste. Um, the fourth inexplicable deed is creating a division in the Sangha. Among the 5 inexplicable deeds, this is the one that could actually occur for us if we are not careful. This is where two Sangha have a good relationship, and then they are divided through someone's speech. This cuts the samaya of bodhicitta between them. It's like in airplane flying and carrying many people, and then cutting the wings of the plane and having it crash to the ground. In brief, it burns their bodhicitta and creates anger between them. The 5th inexplicable deed is causing harm to the body of Buddha. Fortunately, this one is not one that we relate to directly, but at the same time, we should be careful about sub inexplicable deeds, which are like destroying Dharma books, stupas, statues, sanghas, body, and so forth. Dharma books, if you always read the Dharma books, put on your head, that means you have to prostrate to Dharma books. If Dharma books are getting very old, you put in on the fire, and then this fire burns, and then the smoke or this, well, good for the other beings. And if Dharma books are not related with plastic, it's only papers, then these are come from trees, so it's okay. So nowadays we have many papers, and so that's where we don't care Dharma books, and especially we crouch over the Dharma books. This is a really big mistake. It's like a disrespect. If we disrespect Dharma books, then our Dharma wisdom will not grow. Generally, we should respect all the languages. All languages can teach compassion, loving kindness. These languages are in the books or text. We should respect all them as much as possible. Especially Dharma books are very important. Then stupas and temples, they all are end state of Buddha's body. So we should respect, and of course, many Dharma brothers and sisters, they respect more than I do, uh, and sometimes we should look at oneself at the cause of harm, stupas or Dharma books and temples and so forth. Yeah. So whoever engages in these five inexplicable deeds, even if they have precious human life, they waste it. Okay, then fifth, appropriate trust means confidence in all those wholesome things that truly merit trust. The noble teachings declared by the Buddha as a way of taming the mind. Okay. The five other related assets are: sixth, a Buddha has manifested in the world. The noble Dharma has been taught. The seventh, eighth, the teachings of noble Dharma are still existent. Ninth, there are those who follow them. And 10, loving kindness can be developed due to others. Someone possessing these 10 personal and situational factors is called a person with the very best assets. Where these two, the freedoms and the assets, are complete, that is the precious human existence. Why is it called precious? It is so trimmed because being rarely encountered and exceedingly beneficial and useful, its qualities are comparable to those of a wish-fulfilling gem. It is rarely encountered. It says in the Bodhisattva collection, it is difficult to be born human and then difficult to stay alive. The noble Dharma is a rare thing to obtain, and it is also rarer for a Buddha to manifest. This, if we plant a tree, then it takes a long time to grow. So similarly, our body, there are very first father's drop and mother's blood. They are separately remain, in separate body. And then consciousness is like a it's so busy thing. It's travel to everywhere. It's very rare to enter into the uh, union of parents' energies. After that, it's take time to grow. But someone remain in mother's womb over 9 months, and then uh, some died in the womb, some after that, and so then think it's the opportunity to practice dharma is very rare, not easy to find. And then our the life is so fast. We are like a guests, and this body is like a guest house. So uh, now, if we don't make effort to practice dharma, when will we do? Right now, we have uh, our our body has no problem, our knees has no problem, our shoulders and they have no problem. At that moment, we try to cultivate merit with different ways. If you can do prostration, you do. If you can't do, you circumambulate. If you cannot do circumambulate, and you keep meditation posture. If you can't do all of them, physically you can help. At least you avoid your steps on the ants and other bugs on the road. So lots of things you can do, and also your speech. You can recite many mantras, and if you can't do more mantras, and try to avoid divisive speech and meaningless speech, and so forth, and instead teach to others whatever you know. I mean, good qualities for benefit others, and say good things. Mm, And then the mind. However, our mind, uh, our mind or thoughts non-stop. So if we drive our mind in the positive way or negative way, both way our mind non-stop. If you let it go on the negative way, then it endlessly think negative. It's collect many negative things and bring back and give through your channels, winds. So we say karmic winds. It comes from thoughts. If you transform your or drive your mind or thoughts on the positive way, and then compassion, loving kindness. So that's where it bring many good qualities and transform through your channels and your winds, and then wisdom wind means wisdom wind start to work the power of this merit. Okay, then where am I? Furthermore, it says in the White Lotus of Great Compassion Sutra. It's very good because I read this, so you heard many Buddhas, the teachings. Buddha, he taught these sutras to his noble sanghas. At that time, we were not there. Perhaps we were there, but we didn't have interesting to listen Buddha's teaching. Or perhaps since that time we accumulate merit with the small ways. So now eventually we met the Dharma. So anyhow, you'll only hear this. Your pet hear the Buddha's sutaras, then this is gorgeous. Why this is gorgeous? Because it make great merit. If your pet has a great merit, your pet helps you a lot. When you stay with your pet, it helps a lot. Helps a lot means it makes you happy. So then you can, if you have a happy mind, you can cultivate lots of good things. It is not easy to come by a human existence. A person possessing the finest freedoms is also rarely encountered, and it is difficult to find a world in which a Buddha has appeared. Further, it is not at all easy to aspire to what is virtuous, nor is it easy to find most perfect aspiration. Yeah, Buddha is found a world in which Buddha has appeared. Difficult to find a world in which Buddha has appeared. When Shakyamuni Buddha was in India, Saranatha or Bodhigaya, so forth, he gave Dharma well. At that time, if we were his Sangha, and now we are in the Tanka. But so at that time we were not, but still we are engaged Dharma, so should be happy. It also says in the marvelous Arya Sutara, it is rare to encounter that which is free from the 8 unfavorable circumstances. It is rarer to be born human. It is also rare to obtain the very best form of freedom in its plenitude. It is rare for a Buddha to manifest. It is also rarer not to have deficient faculties. It is rarer to be able to study the Buddha Dharma. It is also rarer to be in company of holy beings. It is rare to find truly qualified spiritual teachers. It is also rarer to be able to practice properly that which has been taught so purely. It is rare to maintain a truly right livelihood, and rarer in the human world to earnestly do what is in accord with Dharma. You practice a happy mind with Dharma. Actually, precious human life, if we conclude what is precious human life means, if you can generate bodhicitta, then that is your precious human life. Human life and precious human life are different. Furthermore, it says in Guide to Bodhisattva Way of Life, these freedoms and assets are exceedingly rare. What could exemplify this rarity? For whom is it too rare? just why it is such a rare thing. Guide to the Bodhisattva way of life gives in analogy on account of it being like that. The Buddha has said that to be human is as rare as a turtle putting its neck turtle putting its neck through the hole of a wooden yoke floating on a turbulent oceans. Okay. Ocean is our thought. The total the example is our mind. That this whole is bodhicitta. So this mind come through this whole is very difficult. So we should think like that through this example. Where does this quotation come from? In the most excellent scripture, it says, among other things, were this vast land to be transformed into water, and were someone to set afloat a single one whole it, wooden yoke to be driven in the four directions by the winds, a poor sighted turtle might take thousands of years to surface and put its head through it. Yeah, precious human life. It's not easy, yeah? It's not easy. After we get human life, we make precious human life or not precious human life. This is in our hand. For those born in the lower states of existence, this precious human existence is very hard to obtain. The rarity is due to causality, since the principal cause for obtaining in existence with freedoms and assets is a pure accumulation of merit in the continuum of lives. Seems lives, yeah? Lives. Once born into the lower realms, a being constantly does nothing but wrong and does not know how to develop virtue. For this reason, the only ones born in the three lower realms who can attain a human existence are those who have built up relatively little evil, or those who have created karma that will have to be experienced, but in some later life. This is karma accumulated. There is a karma accumulated in this lifetime that will ripen in the same life. For example, through immeasurable love and immeasurable love, one can benefit countless beings. This karmic result will ripen in this life. Because this is the power of thinking. Also, thinking malicious thoughts towards many beings and then acting on them to harm others, this karmic result will also ripen in this life. Again, because of the power of thinking. Keeping pure vows and refraining from the 10 non-virtues, and through in this way remaining in samadhi for the sake of other beings, this result will ripen in this life. then making offering and helping the Sangha and praising them and their opposite actions, these results will happen in this life. For example, a farmer offered the Buddha barley and then found gold in his field. The opposite also occurs. For example, a man called a Venerable ordained monk, a prostitute, and he suddenly became a prostitute himself. In brief, practitioners with higher realization, whatever we do, good or bad, the result will happen in this life. Then there is a karma that is experienced in subsequent lives. This karma will happen after 3 lifetimes and so forth. This kind of karma is not potent, which means it is not created strongly with the mind, and also its object is not important. For example, if you kill one ant versus 100 ants, then there is another type of karma which is experienced after the next birth. This karma is like the 5 inexpiable deeds. This karma must be experienced in the very next life, in hell and so forth. There are more kinds of karma, and the definitions and classifications will come in future sessions. It is accidentally benefit and useful. It says guide to the way of life. Concerning the attainment of making an able human life means have human life meaningful. The able human life renders the Sanskrit term Purusha, a word for a human life, connoting power or ability. A human existence endowed with the freedoms and assets is this able human life because it has the strength or ability to attain higher rebirth and ultimate good. Further, since there are 3 levels of this ability, there will be 3 corresponding categories of powerful human potential. Thus, it says in Lamp for the Path of Awakening, one should know there to be 3 types of human ability: lesser, middling, and best. Those with the lesser type of powerful human potential have the ability to achieve human or divine rebirth by avoiding descent into the lower state. That it says, a person described as someone with lesser ability is one who, through whatever means, strives for personal welfare and aspires merely to worldly well-being. Those with the middling human ability are able to attain a state of peace and well-being by liberating themselves from samsara, Someone who turns away from worldly happiness, turns away from unwholesome action, uh, strives for personal peace alone, is referred to as the middling type. Those with the highest human ability are capable of attaining Buddhahood for the benefit of sentient beings. Those who, having understood their own suffering, aspire to totally eradicate the entire suffering in every being, are most excellent individuals. Master okay. Master Chinrakome has also commented on the great benefit and use for our precious human existence, saying, there are those who would reach the end of the ocean of rebirth and further plant the virtues seed of supreme enlightenment. Their qualities far uh, exceeding those of a wish fulfilling gem. How could such people engage in fruitless tasks? The Sungata's path found by a human with such great strength of mind cannot be attained by gods, nagas, demigods, garudas, knowledge holders, kumaras, and asuras, no, ugaras, uragas, uragas. This human existence endowed with freedom and assets gives the ability to relinquish non-virtue, cross samsara's ocean, tread the path of enlightenment, and attain perfect Buddhahood. Therefore, such an existence is far superior to those of gods, nagas, and the like. It is something even better than a most precious wish fulfilling gem, because this human existence endowed with freedoms and assets is hard to obtain and of such great benefit. It is called most precious. Although it is so hard to obtain and such tremendous benefit, it is very easily destroyed. This is because there is nothing that can perpetuate the life force. There are many causes of death, and the flow of mountains, river, seas. Thus, it says in Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, it is not right to contentedly think, at least I won't die today. It is without doubt that at one time or another I will be annihilated. Thus, through its rarity, fragility, and real purpose, this physical existence should be considered a boat for doing whatever is needed to find a haven from the ocean of samsara. Thus, it says, making use of this vessel of able human life, get free from the mighty river of suffering. Since such a craft will be hard to come across in the future, don't fall into confusion. There's no time for sleep. Considering this existence as a street to be riding, do whatever must be done to get free from the hazardous path of samsara and suffering. Thus it says, having maintained the state of a pure human existence, gallop away from the hazards paths of samsara's suffering. Considering this physical existence as a servant, make it do wholesome tasks. Thus it says, this human existence should be employed in service of others. Okay. So first you reflect. Now you understand. Perhaps you have this book. So you read. After read one paragraph, then close your eyes and reflect. It's quite hard. Suddenly, I say precious human life, and you think, "Oh, this is precious human life." Perhaps it may not happen. Even if it happened, it is not so powerful. These days, what happened is that we just follow kind of few words, and then, but we don't use these words into practice. Oh, this is very good. That's all. Like this sound. Oh, this is very good. And then that's all. We don't know where good is going where. So that's why you read one paragraph and close your eyes and reflect. After reflect, but don't only do satisfy by reflection, okay? Reflecting. After reflect and then combine with your feeling. I mean, try to put it inside of your mind. If that information goes inside of your mind, and then it begins to change your mind. You think, oh, really, if I don't practice with this precious human life, then it's not okay. And even this is a precious human life, and you can happy. Generally, if you are unhappy with different situations, and you should be happy with your precious human life. When you're happy with your precious human life, this is a healthy mind. And then you can develop your bodhicitta and compassion and so forth. So there is says higher, lower, and middling capacities of practitioners. Which one you have choice. If you think all mother thinking beings, then you are higher capacity practitioner. At that moment, your mind becomes vast, like a boundless space. When your mind becomes as a boundless space, and then temporary sorrow, suffering, they cannot affect to your mind. And your mind is fundamentally relaxed, peace. So in psychologically, there are lots of benefit to reflect on Dharma, and then you more after reflect it, then meditate on there, and this your meditation keep by mindfulness. How to keep by mindfulness is that you often remember, oh, I have precious human life. Precious human life means I try to generate bodhicitta and compassion. Then I make it is precious. Yeah, if you have very good clothes, fabric, and you make very nice designs, and you sew it nicely, and then it becomes expensive. Similarly, you have body, wisdom, everything you have, and then you make it precious human life. How to make it is generate compassion and bodhicitta, and then more progress your realizations. So I trust you can do it, and so now we dedicate, and may you can develop your practice like a vexen moon for the sake of all mother beings. Chancho Zenjo Renpo Che Ma Je Ba Nam Je Jor Che Je Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Go Ne Gong De Be Ba Jo.
May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
Thank you so much. Enjoy with bodhicitta.